Comments for the week ending January 29th for the beef farmers of Ontario. There were 412 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction marts this week, up 125 head from the previous week. Fed steers averaged $315 per hundredweight, up $207 per hundredweight. Fed heifers averaged $317.43 per hundredweight, up $753 per hundredweight from last week's trade. Auction marts reported on Tuesday that fed steer and heifers sold a little easier on the market. By Thursday, fed cattle traded $2 to $3 per hundredweight higher. In Ontario, dress sales were reported at $5.30 per hundredweight delivered, steady with last week. Cattle were being booked for the week of February 9th and February 16th delivery. For the week ending January 17th, Eastern Canadian cattle and cow exports to the U.S. totaled 5,521 head, 38% higher than last year and 87% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern Canadian fed cattle and cow exports were 57% larger than last year. Cull cow receipts through commercial auction facilities this week totaled 2,043 head, down 96 head from the previous week. Cows average $178.06 per hundredweight, up $8.97 per hundredweight. Beef cows averaged $204.11 per hundredweight, up $23.60 per hundredweight from last week's trade. It's reported that fed cows traded fully steady. Total receipts this week were 7,057 head this week, with receipts of 3,234 stockers and feeders sold through Ontario auction marts, down 81 head from the previous week. Auction marts reported on Friday, January 22nd, that calves sold on a strong active trade. By Thursday, stockers sold strong, with heifers fetching premiums. The Quebec electronic market this week traded at $5.27 per hundredweight. Last week, Alberta fed steers and heifers closed the week at $3.03 and $3.01 per hundredweight respectively, steady with the previous week. Dress sales were reported from $5.05 to $5.08 per hundredweight delivered, steady with the previous week. Cattle that traded were scheduled anywhere from immediate to the second half of February delivery. For the week ending January 24th, Western Canadian fed processing totaled 36,872 head. Year-to-date processing is 3.2% higher than last year. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw most of the trade take place on Friday. Dress sales in Iowa and Nebraska were from $3.75 to $3.78 per hundredweight, $5 to $8 per hundredweight higher than the previous week. Live sales in all 4 major feeding states were from $2.38 to $2.40, $3 to $5 stronger. USDA released its January 1st cattle inventory report last Friday. Despite strong margins in 2025, the beef industry has been slow to turn the corner and rebuild numbers. On January 1st, beef cow inventories totaled 10.6 million head, 1% lower than last year. Beef cow numbers are the smallest since 1961. Beef heifers kept back for replacements were up 0.9% or 40,000 head, well below industry estimates. Total U.S. cattle inventories were reported just over 86 million head, 320,000 head below last year. This is Rodger for the Beef Farmers of Ontario Market Information Report.